Hello, good morning, and welcome to IELTS lessons. In today's lesson, IELTS Advanced Course, Lesson 8, we're going to study Speaking Part 2 and Writing Task 2. For Speaking Part 2, I'd like you to work as role play and act as examiner and examinee. So you're going to pick topics randomly and then take turns. Now, for Writing Task 2, the essay topic that we're going to study today is about education, particularly history or science and technology. And the essay task that we're going to deal today is discuss both views and give your opinion. Now, to understand better what our essay topics and essay tasks are, let us review the mastering task response. This is understanding the essay topic and brainstorming of our ideas. Now, what are essay tasks? As listed here, these are the things that we need to do in the essay. So the task may ask us to agree or disagree, to give our extent of our agreement, to discuss both views, and so on and so forth. And the example essay topics here, the essay topics are the issues that are given to us, and the example essay topics here may range from environment, tourism, internet, education, and so on and so forth. Now let's begin with our before we begin with brainstorming of ideas and reviewing the writing task 2 and how to answer, discuss both views, and give your opinion. Let us first check some useful vocabulary that can be used in talking about history. So we have here vocabs and vocabulary and phrases 1 to 20. So first, let us tackle or deal one vocabulary at a time and give some examples for us to better understand these phrases here. The first phrase that we need to study is social system. It means social interactions based on shared norms and values. So what are the examples of these social systems? An example sentence here is: a major influence of the Philippine social system is Christianity. So when we say social systems, these are the shared norms and values that allows us to socially interact. So for example, we grow up in a family with common norms and values. What are those norms? Norms are the practices and the beliefs, or the and the values are those we think that are the behavior that are acceptable in a particular society or community. So those are the values. So again, a social system or social systems are interactions based on shared norms and values. Now the next phrase here we need to study today is the phrase competitive society, a society where there is a fierce competition of education and job market. Now as we can observe today, there is every society is a competitive society. This is brought by the presence of the spread of globalization. So the market has become global, education has become global, the entertainment has become global, and because of this, it has created a competitive society. An example sentence here is: people who work in a highly competitive society like in Japan may find life stressful but rewarding. So again, competitive society is a society where there is a fierce or very strong competition of education and even in job market. The next word that we need to study here is the word milieu. It is a noun. It means a person's social environment. Again, milieu is an environment, but only pertains to social environment. For example, I grow up in one example I can give is that I grew up in a peaceful and loving milieu. So if you grow up in a peaceful and loving milieu, your social environment is loving, caring, and kind, full of happiness, rich in compassion. So an example sentence here is: the former US President Barack Obama grew up in a competitive milieu. So again, milieu pertains to the environment, but it only refers to social environment. Next is thrive. Thrive here is verb. It means prosper or flourish. So right now, if you want to, one example we can give here is that if you want to thrive in a competitive society, you must do your best. You must do what you are good at. So if you are, for example, if you're good at teaching, so you must focus on doing best at teaching every single day for you to thrive in a competitive society. If you're good at math, or if you're good at if you have any talent, so you must focus and give your energy and time to develop your talent for you to thrive in a competitive society. An example sentence here that I can give you is never stop learning. This is the ultimate way we can thrive in a highly competitive society. So again, for, just to insert my philosophy of Stoicism, Stoic says that we should never retire, or never stop learning. The next word that we need to study here is a noun, which is upheaval. It means a violent change or disruption of something. Now this pertains to something that happens in society, where we observe a violent change or disruption of something. An example sentence here is that the EDSA revolution in the Philippines was one of the major political upheaval in Philippine history. Now, also as we have heard from the news, there was one time in the Philippines that some of the protesters rally in major streets, and they have caused upheaval in some cities in the Philippines. The reason for these protests was when the anti-terrorism law, I think, has been implemented, and many objected to the implementation of this law, and has caused upheaval to some places in the country, based on the news that I have heard, I have seen as well. Next is the phrase be attributed to. It means to say or think that something is the result or work of something or someone else. Now, one example here that we can apply in our daily life is that when we say that the success that we have achieved is solely attributed to our effort. Now remember that we may experience the ups and downs in life, but the reaching of the points, the higher point in our life could be attributed to our own effort. And we may fail, but also the failure there could also be attributed to maybe our lack of wisdom. So I think we need to accept that somehow both success and failure is attributed to our own doing. Now, one example sentence here that I can give is our freedom is solely attributed to the courage and patriotism of our national heroes. Alright, so again, be attributed to means to say or think that something is a result or work of something or someone else. Okay, so do you believe that your success is attributed to your own effort? I hope you do believe that, and always think that both our success and failure is attributed to our own effort. Next is thwart. Thwart here is a verb. It means prevent someone from accomplishing something, right? So right now, for example, you are studying IELTS because you wanted to achieve something greater, and you wanted to achieve a certain level of English language. Now, sometimes what thwart you or me or us from achieving our goal is maybe the fear of failing the exam. Yes, because we think that if our aim, for example, is to get a score of 7 in all areas, and if we constantly practice to get this band score, but at some points we fail. So this failure thwart us from achieving our goal. All right. So again, I've learned from my group that the word fail stands for first attempt in learning. All right. So never allow a certain failure to thwart us from achieving our goal. To me, the greatest failure there is not doing at all. Okay, and nothing and no one should thwart us from achieving a goal that we want to get. An example sentence here is, no one can thwart me from achieving my success, and taking IELTS is the first step. So if you think that taking IELTS is your first step to achieving your dreams, then you should put in your mind that no one can thwart you from achieving what you want to get. Next is infer. Infer is a verb. It means to conclude from evidence or reasoning. All right. So right now we have witnessed the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, and many scientists infer that the main cause or origin of the virus is from the market where wild animals were sold, and based on their studies, the virus may come from these markets, again, where wild animals are sold. Now, an example sentence here is, based on the facts given, we can infer that the primary cause of heart disease is the unhealthy diet. Okay, so again, infer is not just reasoning, but it also means reasoning based on to conclude from evidence or from reasoning. Next is unprecedented. It means never done or known before. Now, we have all known that the COVID-19 virus is unprecedented. This virus has never existed before. Right? So whatever that is never done or known before, we can associate, or we can describe that thing or event or happening as unprecedented. All right. Next is an example sentence here is, in 2020 we have met an unprecedented deadly virus, which is a COVID-19. Next is pressing concern. This means a problem or issue that has to be dealt with immediately. So again, it is a problem or issue that has to be dealt with immediately. All right. So today the most pressing concern that we experience today is not only solving the problems caused by global warming, but also eradicating COVID-19. That is the most pressing concern that we are facing today. An example sentence here that I can give is, one of the most pressing concerns in every country today is to totally eradicating COVID-19. Yes. So before we have, this is the most pressing concern because of this, because of COVID-19, it has caused several detrimental impacts. Okay? Loss of jobs, economy, loss of lives, and a lot more damages. Next is virtually. It means it is an adverb. It means nearly or almost. So scientists believe if we apply this in our daily life, we have seen in the news that scientists have inferred that the COVID-19 may be virtually impossible to be eradicated. So COVID-19 would exist together with together with our normal way of living. So we have to adopt its existence. An example sentence here is, it is virtually impossible to beat COVID-19 without a vaccine. Yes, which is, I think, correct, because every day, and almost every day, or just lately, we have heard or seen from the news that there is another variant of virus coming in. So I think it's virtually impossible to beat this COVID-19 without vaccine. Next is a predicament. It is an adjective. It means a difficult and unpleasant situation or hard to get out. So again, predicament is not only a difficult situation, but you are in a difficult situation, but you have a hard time going out from it. So for example, if you have a huge debt, for example, yes, if you have a huge debts, and you don't have like enough salary to pay the debts, then you will be in predicament. You are in a difficult situation and you have a hard time to get out in that difficult situation. Okay. And another example is when your teacher, for example, caught you cheating. All right. Caught you cheating right under his nose, right under her nose, then you are absolutely in predicament. You are in a difficult situation and you will have a hard time to get out from it. An example sentence here is getting into huge debts could place us in predicament. Yes. Next, let's move on to the next word, pragmatic. It means it is an adjective. It means practical and useful. So the pragmatic solution, okay, the pragmatic solution to reducing the spread of COVID-19 is to maintain the standard procedure, okay, so standard protocols, and one of those is to wear masks, to wash our hands more frequently, to keep physically distance from other people, to avoid large gatherings, and so on. So that is the most pragmatic solution to reduce the spread of COVID-19. An example sentence here is one pragmatic solution when we are in a predicament due to huge debts is to live within our budget or to cut down our expenses. So I think that is one of the most pragmatic solutions if we are in this predicament. Next is I'd like you to choose 10 words and make sentences, and we have studied several words and phrases here to describe and talk about history. Now I'd like you to choose 10 words and make sentences. I'd like you to use complex or complex or compound sentences. Now let's move on to writing task 2. Again, in writing task 2, our essay task here is to discuss both views and give your opinion, and our essay topic is this. Some people say history is one of the most important school subjects. Other people think that in today's world, subjects like science and technology are more important than history. And our task here again is discuss both these views and give our opinion. So first, let us identify what is the first view given here. The first view given here from other people is that history is one of the most important school subjects. So we have to give reasons. We have to give reasons why some other people believe that history is one of the most important school subjects. What can young people get from history, or what can we get from history after we finish studying at the university? How can we use history in our daily life? How can we use history in solving our social problems? How can we use history in solving or at least improving our society? Because some people think that it is considered the most important school subjects. Now, others refute to this argument. They refute to this argument and claim that no, it's not history. It's science and technology. They are more important than history. So how can science and technology be more important than history? What are the practical sides, or what are the practical or pragmatic sides? Again, we have learned the word pragmatic. It means useful. So what are the pragmatic sides in science and technology which make people believe that these two subjects are more important than history? So we have to give reasons why other people believe that science and technology can be more useful to to students, can be more useful to society, can be more useful to us, and not history. We have to discuss both of these views and give our opinion. So let us have take a look here of what we need to review in writing task 2. First is we need to review here the planning and brainstorming of ideas. We have to check the essay structure, the writing of the introduction, the body paragraph, the writing of the conclusion, and transition words and phrases, which can be very useful in improving our cohesion and coherence. So first, let's begin with planning and brainstorming of ideas. So first is we will take the view of the view of other people, where they believe that history is one of the most important school subjects. And the example reasons that I give here are this one. So why do many people believe that history is one of the most important school subjects? First is, why is history considered to be, by some people, to be the most important school subject? And here's here's some of my answers. Some of the questions here. How can learning history be useful to us and to the society? So the example answers that I have here is, number one, the first reason that I give is that the past could teach us valuable lessons on how to overcome the challenges in the present. Okay, so we have to imagine this one. The past could teach us valuable lessons on how to overcome the challenges in the present. So what are the common challenges that we face today? First is we may face, for example, racism. So as we have seen in the latest news, there were these Asians were bullied in the U.S. and many Asian Americans right now are calling the attention of the government, the U.S. government, and calling the attention of the people to stop Asian hate. And this racism doesn't only exist today, it existed in the past. And we can learn from history in the past on how cruel racism is. There are a lot of examples that we can relate our experiences today, which are also very closely related to the experiences in the past. All right. So another thing is the COVID-19 virus, for example. Right. So in the past there was this Spanish flu. So what was the cause of Spanish flu? That may be quite similar to the pandemic we experience today, the COVID-19. So if you have heard about the Spanish flu, it happened I think during World War I, I guess, or II, and it's been reported that there were more causes of death caused by Spanish flu than the casualties in war. And not only that, about jobs, about role of women and men, right? About equality in education and so on. So there are things in the past that we can learn, we can learn and can be pragmatically apply to solving the problems today. All right. So next is another reason that I give here is that it will give you a clearer picture of the present situation. So culture, tradition, language, race, etc., and useful at work and life skills, right? So if you learn history, we can learn, for example, if you study the world history, we can have a clearer picture of culture and tradition of a certain country, for example. Now, if you study Philippine history, we have the Philippines has been colonized by Spaniards, okay, by Spaniards, and then came the Japanese, and came the Americans. So when we study Philippine history, we can understand we can understand deeply our culture, which is a mix of Spanish and American, mostly Western culture. So when we study history, we can understand and have a clearer picture of a present situation. And my last reason here is be more open to changes, improvement, and development. So Why do you think that when we study history we can be more open to changes, improvement, and development? Okay, because when we study history, we don't only study our own history. We also study the history of other people. And if we study the history of other people, the history of other country, the history of other places, we can be more open about what their life is and how their life has been in the past. So again, we can I mean, and this openness to changes, improvement, and development can be very useful at work, at social life, yes, and even at school. Students can be open to changes, improvement, and even in development if they start learning history. Right, now let's move on to planning and brainstorming of ideas, view 2. In here, people believe that science and technology are more important than history. So in this view, we have to answer the questions: how can learning these subjects benefit us? How can learning science and technology, again, benefits those students studying these subjects? How can science and technology be very useful and important in for the development of our society, right? And one reason that I have pointed out here is that science and technology are more important than history because they open a more promising career and more lucrative jobs. So if you observe today's development in science and technology, as you can see, IT is very developing. The phones, right? The mobile gadgets that we're using now is quickly developing. Other technologies that we use now are the products of science and technology. And when students study science and technology, this can be very useful to them in the future to land a lucrative jobs. So jobs in the IT area, jobs in engineering industry, and so on and so forth. So that's one possible reason why this science and technology open a more promising career and more lucrative jobs. Now the next reason here is science and technology is very useful when learned at school, because history can be learned at home or through personal reading. So when we want to learn history, for example, we can buy history books or go to a library and read some books about history books, but science and technology could hardly be learned at home. Science and technology could hardly be learned through personal endeavor. So it is very useful for students to learn these science and technology at school. So that's another reason that I have come up with. Next is history can become obsolete. All right, so science and technology is a never-ending developing skills. All right, so because as we can observe today, again, as I've mentioned a while ago, that right now we experience the boom of science and technology, and history can become obsolete, right? I mean, people may forget their history, but today we can obviously see the rapid development of science and technology. So that's my third reason why students should study science and technology at school. Now let's move on to our essay structure. So since this one is discuss both views and give our opinion, and as we have mentioned in our previous classes, that each task has different essay structure. So in here, in this writing task 2, the task is to discuss both views and give our opinion. Our essay structure goes like this. First is we have, of course, our introduction. So we must write at least 3 sentences in our introduction, and then our body paragraph 1, which we will present the view 1. Body paragraph 2, we will present the view 2, followed by body paragraph 3, which is our opinion, and this opinion only must consist of 3 sentences, and we should not copy the opinion of another people's view. What does it mean? It means that we have to create another reason for holding your view. All right. What do I mean by this? For example, I have presented there 3 reasons for view 1 and 3 reasons for view 2. So we can use one reason to develop our first body paragraph. Yeah, one reason only for view 1 and one reason for view 2 to develop our second body paragraph, and we can pick, right, another reason, right, to be placed or to be written in body paragraph 3. All right, so it should not be the same answer, right? So we should not give the same answer in body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and in our opinion. It must be a different answer. All right, so I think that is clear. And lastly, you can have an opinion either on view 1, view 2, or both. Now for the conclusion, do not combine the opinion with the conclusion. So this is based from my experience, where based on the training I had back in the Philippines. Right, so some examiners say, I would say the examiners, okay, there in the Philippines, as I recall, right, encourage us not to combine opinion and conclusion, because examiners wanted to see your clear stance, okay, your clear side and your clear opinion. So it should not be combined with conclusion. Although we see opinions are combined with conclusion, but as far as the advice I got, so we should separate the opinion and conclusion. Now here's an example of planning our essay in outline form. All right, so we have presented there 3 reasons for holding a view that history is more important than science and technology, and we also have another 3 reasons for holding the view why science and technology is more important than history, than studying history. Now in here for body paragraph 1, I picked one reason, okay, from our plans, from the 3 reasons I pick one, and the reason I got here is the history taught us valuable lessons. So that's my main point 1, the only one reason I got from our answers we had previously. Then next we need to explain these reasons. So we have this explain 1. So my explain 1 here is that overcoming hostile milieu in the past, and then I give an example here, COVID-19 and Spanish flu, and then explain 2 could have been prevented if we have learned the lesson from the past. Now for body paragraph 2, I have to state here reason why science and technology are more important than history, and my reason here, or my main point 2 here, is that it creates, or studying these subjects create lucrative opportunities. And I explain this with yes, the technology is a staple career, and this is based on what we have today, the modern technology, and the example here are smartphones. And for the opinion, as I've said, we have to write only 1 to 2 sentences. So the main point 1 I gave here for my opinion is that they actually share equal value. So there's we cannot say that science is more important than science, technology is more important than history, and vice versa. They actually play an equally significant value. All right, because history shapes our character and science and technology provide financial security. So both actually should go together, right, to make a better, like achieve better than focusing only on one subject, right? So they are actually, these 2 subjects actually are inextricably linked, right? They are integrated. Next is now after we do the planning and brainstorming. Of course, now we are ready to write our introduction. So for our introduction, again, we have a structure in writing our introduction. The first one is that we have to give an opening statement. And what is this opening statement? An opening statement is actually about the general topic. We have to give an opening statement. What is the purpose of opening statement? The purpose of opening statement is to attract your reader, right, to read your essay. So this statement can be a phrase or a sentence, but should not be sentences. All right, it can only be a phrase or a sentence, but should not be sentences. So that is an opening statement. Again, an opening statement is we open the topic or the issue using the general topic, and the general topic here is about history or science and technology. Again, it must be something general, not specific. Okay, and after that, after we give our opening statement, we have to paraphrase. And I think we have learned the ways in giving a paraphrase. Okay, so in paraphrasing, we have to use synonyms. So in we have to use synonyms. We have to change the word function. All right, so from verb to the word function here means we can change the verb to noun, noun to verb, adjective, etc., etc. And we can also change the structure of sentences. All right, so paraphrasing. After we paraphrase, we have to paraphrase the topic here. The topic here is the essay topic, right? So it says here, history is the most important school subjects, while others think that science and technology is more important than history. So we have to paraphrase this. So in paraphrasing, again, we can use synonyms or change the function of the word, or we can restructure the sentence. And lastly, we have to give our thesis statement. All right, so our thesis statement is the outline of our answer. The reason why we need to give a thesis statement or outline of our answer is that we have to give the reader an idea on what we are going to write in our essay. All right, again, we're going to give the reader an idea on what we're going to write in our essay. So state your answer, and the answer here is that we are going to present both views and give our opinion. Okay, so we have an example introduction here. First is opening statement. All right, so an opening statement here that I've written is that education is the only practical tool for us to prosper, but due to a wide range of aspects to study, that's my opening statement. It is a phrase but not a sentence. Okay, paraphrase. Some people have argued that learning the life in the past is more significant nowadays than studying science and technology. However, others oppose to this. So others opposed to this is a paraphrase to view 2. Okay, so make it short. And then lastly is our thesis statement. The purpose of this essay is to discuss both sides of the argument and present my opinion. So again, we can only use this phrase here. The purpose of this essay is to discuss both sides. Okay, we can only use this phrase here in discuss both views and giving our opinion. All right, so we should not use this phrase. The purpose of this essay is to discuss both sides. We should not use this phrase if we are given another task. All right, so if our task is agree or disagree extent, or problem solution, we should not say the purpose of this essay is to discuss both sides of the argument. Okay, so use this phrase only specifically to the task, discuss both views, and give our opinion. All right, now let's move on to writing the body paragraph. So in the body paragraph too, if there are 3 parts of the introduction, there are also 3 main parts of the body paragraph. So the first one is a main point 1, second one is explain 1 and explain 2, the third one is example, which is optional, and the last one is a concluding statement, which is also optional. All right, so main point 1, explain 1 and 2, they are essential in the body paragraph. So they must contain, or body paragraph must contain, main points and explanations. So here's an example of a body paragraph, alright? So main point 1. For some people, history should be given more importance because it taught us valuable lessons. Okay, so that's my main point 1. It is a phrase. So your main point doesn't need to be a sentence. Okay, so sometimes your main point can only be a phrase, right? But longer one, okay, not shorter one, or a sentence. So which explain 1 can be useful in dealing with present day problems. And then explain 2, every year our society experiences several social struggles that stem from many aspects including the economy, health, education, and environment. But we thrive since history showed us how the people in the past overcome a hostile milieu. Okay? That's it. So that's an explain 1 and explain 2. Example. In 2019, for instance, the world was caught unprepared by the unprecedented outbreak of COVID that claimed thousands of innocent lives. Okay, so again, in here we have a clear structure of our essay. We have the main point, which is clearly stated, alright? Then we have explain 1, which is also clearly stated, explain 2, and then we give an example. Okay, now the example here, just like in speaking part 3, the example here should not be specific. It should be general. So if you say general, this means that examples can be observed by everyone, all right? Not just by our experiences, personal experiences, all right? And there's another explain 3. So this pandemic was not different from the Spanish flu that happened decades ago. This could have been prevented if all people have been educated by the impact of the deadly virus and its origins. Okay, so clear. Now in our body paragraph 1, we don't need to write there 3 main points. Okay, 1 main point is enough. We don't need to write even 2 main points unless the question asks us to give more. Okay, what do I mean by to give more? To give more than 1. For example, the question asks us problems, solutions, advantages, disadvantages. Of course, we have to write 2 reasons. But if the answer doesn't require us to write 2 reasons, then 1 is enough. And 1 reason, okay, 1 main point should be clearly supported with enough explanation and enough argument. Okay, so let's move on to writing task 2, writing the conclusion. Okay, so you may check the example essay there that I have given to you. Check the body paragraph 2 and identify the main point, explain 1, explain 2, and example if there is. So for the conclusion, so we have here again the three ways of ending our essay. First one is restatement plus either suggestion or what? Prediction. All right, so suggestion is when we give suggestion. What are the how to give suggestion? Okay, so we can say could, okay, possibility, would, may. All right, our prediction is if. All right, so we use if clauses. So let's try to see here an example conclusion, and let's see what, how I end the essay here. So example conclusion: taking everything into account, despite these contrasting arguments, I maintain that giving equal significance of these 2 fields of knowledge can generate more benefits. So therefore there is a combination of restatement and prediction. Okay, so I think we don't have any questions about writing task 2 and this task. Okay, so I'd like you to do on your own. Okay, so I'd like you to work in pair, plan and brainstorm ideas. I'd like you to write a complete essay using the same essay topic and essay task. Okay, again, write a complete essay using the same essay topic and essay task. And when you write your essay, don't forget to brainstorm ideas. Okay, so develop outline of your main points and outline of your explanation for each main points. All right, and then begin writing your essay. So I'd like you to focus more on the quality of your essay, not the quantity of your essay. So it may take you a long time to write 1 complete essay, but that is natural, that is normal. And If you can write, if you have just started to study IELTS and you can write a complete essay task 2 in 20 minutes or 1 hour, you're a genius. Okay, but if you have just started learning IELTS and it take you a long time, it take you about an hour or 2 hours or more than 2 hours to finish writing task 2, then that's just normal. Okay, because we are still on the process of assimilating, right, the knowledge that we have learned and how the skills that we have learned on how to develop IELTS writing task 2. Okay, that's just normal. But what is not normal is not trying at all. Okay, so please do your task and submit your essay or complete essay to my email. Thank you and see you next meeting.